Hello, this is my vlog every day in February entry for Wednesday the 25th of February. Getting quite near the end of this month-long challenge, and it will be quite strange not doing these little videos. So I'm just about to head off to the art house, but I wanted to do a little vlog about something extremely dear to my heart. I wanted to share the different types of journals and planners that I use. Now, both journaling and planning are really crucial for me. Planning is one side of the coin. Planning is where I visualize. I will do large-scale planning, big vision. What matters to me? What do I want to achieve in the world? And then I will do very small-scale planning day to day. So I tend to schedule in and plan my days quite thoroughly. And I will talk a little bit at the end about the electronic stuff that I use, because I do use electronic stuff as well. But I'm a really big fan of just, grabbing some pens and physically getting in. Ooh, lid came off my pro marker. Physically getting in there and planning. And then the other side of the coin for me, for my well-being and reflection and personal development, I have always done a lot of journaling. And I really can't recommend. I think if you take nothing else away from watching my videos or visiting my site, if you take nothing away from coming to one of my workshops, I hope that everyone who comes away from my things takes away the journaling habit, because I just can't recommend it highly enough, however you choose to do it. So I wanted to share a couple of different ways I journal, because people tend to think there's only one way to journal, and actually because I'm a complete journal fanatic, I journal in several different ways, and any one of these might suit you, or any combination of them, or of course your own totally separate style. So when I'll show you my journals, and then I'll talk a little bit about planning, because to me the two things can't exist without the other. The one is I'm planning out my year, my day, my month, my life, and the other is I'm reflecting back to see how that worked. And I think they feed into each other as you move forward through your life. So to me, they can't be separated. I couldn't journal without planning. I couldn't plan without journaling. Okay, so the first kind of journal that I use daily is this journal that I've been using for quite a few years now, and it's called The Sacred Journey. And no, I'm not on commission, but I recommend it very highly. The Sacred Journey is quite a simple journal. It has just a daily space, very similar to a planner or diary. And then on the opposite side for each week, you've got a blessings, gifts and strengths page, which you can stick things on, you can write things on, or in this case, I left it blank that week, which happens. Now, as you can see, sticky page, I do tend to fill it in most days, and it's a really handy thing because I can just write what I did really quickly, and I can also write how I'm feeling. And what I find this is really useful for is tracking cycles of moods and stuff, and it's one of the ways that I track what works and what doesn't work for my seasonal affective disorder, but also for my life in general, everything. It's also good for tracking a menstrual cycle, which is also a handy thing to do. So this is a really handy and easy thing to use. I really like it. It's just a very quick way of recording what's happened to me in a week. And I can refer back to this when I'm doing bigger reflections, or even just trying to remember what day something happened. It can be really nice for that. So yeah, the Sacred Journey is that's my daily journaling practice. I tend to do that just before I go to bed most nights, or sometimes I'll do it first thing in the morning. And it also has a monthly section where you can do kind of highlights and insights of the month. And also it has, for each of the 4 quarters of the year, next one being the equinox, it has the option to use oracle cards and kind of look at the symbolism. So it's quite nice for me because I do follow those seasonal celebrations. So I come to those and do some thinking and planning around those times of the season. So that's journal practice number 1. Really highly recommend some kind of little daily practice. And you can, I haven't got it here, but I also buy the Earth Pathways diary, and I have to be honest, I don't use it. I just buy it because it's so full of lovely things. But you could use something like that. So any diary that has a sort of weekly thing you could use in that way, so you don't necessarily have to buy the Sacred Journey. So the next thing I do is I have generally in my bag or about my person a notebook, and this is quite a multi-purpose thing. I will sometimes jot down ideas, I will sometimes jot down, I will do some exercises. I've done an exercise there from a book called Soulistry. And if I'm working through any books, I will sometimes do exercises. If I'm watching anything like a TED Talk or Oprah's Super Soul Sunday or anything like that, or watching e-course videos as well, I often will have this to hand to make notes. And also I just use it as a traditional written journal, really, just reflecting and, you know, just kind of morning pages, and I will also write poems in it sometimes. So yeah, that's a really handy notebooky, journaly, reflective thing. And again, I will refer to this for artwork and for more in-depth journaling and vision boarding. It's really useful. So the next kind is the slightly more fun, well, they're all fun, but this one is my kind of memory keeping, record keeping of my life, and I will very often put stuff in this one when I'm on my day off or off on an adventure. I call it my adventure journal, and I will use little prompts. I bought some little things that sort of ask what made me smile and what I'm eating, drinking, listening, feeling, daydreaming. It's quite nice for that. I will do some written work in there as well, but I also will stick things in. So when I went to the Isle of Wight, there's the little thing you hang in your car to go on the ferry. I will stick, if I get postcards or letters from people, nice letters, I'll put them in. I went to the Southampton Mela, and there's the programme for the day that went in there. And, you know, someone sent me this lovely cutting from a newspaper of a pixie house. My house, want to live there. That's in there. And, yeah, just anywhere I go, I'll just stick little leaflets in. Went on the Shield Hall steamship, so I put something in there. And I will write things down as well. But I tend to take this with me if I'm having a day out or a holiday. It's my most common use. And I'll also put photos of myself. In fact, I managed to get my Instagram shots printed off as stickers. There's quite a few companies that do that. So yeah, that's my adventure journal. And then last of all, which I consider to be quite different, is an art journal. And this one's quite fat. This is one in progress. Now, at the moment, I'm doing Effie Wild's Book of Days, which I've done, I think this is the second or third round. I did another one, I'm pretty sure it's the third round of Book of Days I'm doing with Effie. Art journaling is quite different from those other three types of journaling, because art journaling is very much about what it looks like. It's a visual process. And I always consider art journals to be more about sharing, but that said, you can keep art journals totally private. But for me, art journals are almost distilling down a lot of what happens in these three into a visual form. There's three reasons art journaling is great for me. First of all, just on a practical level, it gives me a chance to test out new techniques and materials. So, you know, before I move on to doing a painting or working on one back there, I can test the materials out on an art journal, in an art journal, and it gets me used to using new materials. It's fun to do art just for me. So it's fun to do art that isn't for sale, isn't to make prints, it isn't a commission, it's not for display necessarily. I call it alone art, and I really like doing that. And last of all, I find it really supports me emotionally to do art journaling, especially Effie's art journaling, which is very much about supporting yourself and kind of using art as part of your self-care routine. So yeah, this is kind of what an art journal page looks like. As you can see, lots of paint, lots of different materials, and yeah, I'll often do a little fold out bit and stick in things, and then do sort of paintings in there and some writing as well. And I'm following Book of Days. Oh, hello. Oh, it's sticky. I'm not going to try and rip that apart. I'm following Book of Days, but I'm also doing my own, so I quite often will just illustrate a quote. In the Bubbling Well group at the moment, we're doing Weekly Wednesday Words, which I just share a quote and then we illustrate them in some way, not necessarily art journaling, but I'm doing mine in my art journal. And yeah, this is a spread that's got a little fold. This is called a spread, by the way, when you've got a 2 pages piece of artwork like that in a journal. It's called a spread. This one I really enjoyed doing. So I'm doing Book of Days, but I'm also doing my own spreads that come to me. And I want to show you this one. It says, "It takes courage to have an open heart." Yay! I really enjoyed doing that one. It's quite glittery as well. You can't really tell just how epically glittery it is. There it is. So yeah, I'm really enjoying doing the art journaling. And there are other people that I will list who I think are great, as well as Effie, who teach art journaling, mixed media and art journaling, and I just think it's fun. It's a really fun way. And if you've never done any painting or you're new to painting, it's such a good way to get into it because it feels very safe to do it. And this week I've been playing with tracing paper, so I did a watercolour layer and then I put some words on tracing paper so it can kind of overlay. That was lots of fun. So yeah, those are the sort of 4 main types of journaling that I use. There's my little stack of ones that I'm using at the moment. I'm a total notebook junkie. I have, you can't see, but up above me is a shelf with sort of ready to unwrap notebooks. And then I wanted to talk about planning. I know I'm getting on time, I know, but I just want to talk about planning. Now, I use a good old-fashioned, well, yeah, they are old-fashioned now, which makes me feel a bit old, Filofax. I remember when they were like the new thing, yeah. Good old-fashioned Filofax, which I haven't brought upstairs with me because I was like this with this lot. And I use that. I have a day to a page, and I plan my days out quite rigidly, to be honest. Even if that plan then kind of changes, which it usually does, it's just a really good way to stop myself taking on more than I can cope with if I have to schedule things in. But for bigger picture planning for my year, I use Leonie Dawson's Create Your Shiny Year workbook. And there's Leonie. Look at her, isn't she lovely? Lovely hippie Australian lady. I love her. So yeah, this is a really nice, I bought the print version this year, but you can download it and print it yourself. And it's, I like it because it's incredibly practical, but it's also groovy colourful. And I'm still in the process. You can see all these little post-its of things I still have to finish. I do 3 of these. I do Create Your Shining Life for me. I do Create Your Shining Business for the Art House, which I do in collaboration with my team. And then I do Create Your Shining Business for my online business as well. So it usually takes me till the end of February to get through all of those, and I'm still working on them. But what I love about this is that you've got a lot of goal setting, a lot of reflection. You know, this is a particularly good one where you reflect on how you're spending your time, and then how you want to spend your time. And that's really nice thing I would recommend. And you know what your mission of your business is, the big picture stuff here, what kind of year you want to have. So yeah, for me this is your income goals. And what I love is to do this for the whole year. It's got a monthly reflection section as well, so I kind of chunk back to that and go, ooh, how am I going? And then use the daily planner. I will transfer those goals onto daily planners. And really quickly, because this is now the most epically long blog in the it's very long. We're getting to the blooper reel, folks. Well done, you made it. Yeah, electronically I use Google Calendar as a scheduler. It's great because it links in with my Google Mail and I can share it with people. So it's just a really straightforward scheduler. So that's what I use. And I also use a task and project manager called Asana, which I like because it's got a nice yogic name and it's also lovely and I can share it with the team at the Art House. But I do also I have an Asana project list for home and I have an Asana project list for my online biz as well. So yeah, those are my online tools, which I consider very valuable indeed. Google Calendar can also text you reminders when you're due for a meeting, which is like having a PA, but you don't have to pay them, which is good. We like. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I'd be really interested to hear what you do in terms of journaling and planning, and looking at people's journal spreads and what they do, and looking at, yeah, just how journaling supports you would be really interesting. And thanks very much for watching this quite long. I hope you found it interesting. I'm going to go off to the Art House now. Bye bye. off.